What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Two Game Podcast. We are back to discuss the Acolyte with our review of episode 6. Got off on a good foot last week. Okay, so series is kind of on a positive trajectory so far. I did watch episode 6 and I did do an instant reaction on TikTok where you can find us doing that every single week right after the episode airs. So if you are interested in that, click on the links down in the description below. But without further ado, let's jump into episode 6. Sir, we kind of expected them to kind of slow things down for this episode. We knew that it wasn't going to be anything like episode 5 was, right?
Yeah.
And this episode was going to be more so the light and the dark aspects between Osha and May, kind of flipping, reversing, and whatnot. How do you feel about episode 6?
So when I first watched it on premiere night, I actually enjoyed it. For the most part. I enjoyed Saul and I enjoyed Chimere. They were good character building moments for both of those two characters, I guess, kind of. And you and I had talked about it that night whenever we watched it. That I figured out the issue with this show. And aside from the script just being horrible, it's the directing of how the actors are to portray their characters. The Jedi, or the people who are playing the Jedis, are playing these stoic, emotionless people, like zero, absolutely no emotion. And I think that's what's really throwing it off, is the fact that they have zero personality, zero emotion, zero anything. They're literally just playing robots.
I can't disagree with that. I watched it premiere night, and I thought it was great. I thought it was a great secondary or follow-up episode to what episode 5 was, you know? Anything involving Chimere and Osha, and then May and Saul, for the most part, was pretty great. If it deviated from that whatsoever, it was garbage. Hot garbage. And that's not even to say that those two halves of the episode with Osha and May, they still had their faults. Because we still have Osha and May, which that actress just can't act worth a motherfucker.
No.
And when I went back and watched it just before we started doing this recording, I am a little bit lower on the episode.
Yeah,
on the second viewing.
I was too.
I still overall I still like it. I still think it's a decent follow up to what episode 5 was. And granted, in comparison to episodes 1 through 4, this is like The Sopranos, basically. That's how fucking good this is in comparison to the other 4 episodes. I'm gonna get a lot of shit in the comments. Oh, this ain't fucking as good as The Sopranos. I'm not fucking saying that. I'm just saying, like, that's how bad episodes 4.
I want you to go back to the scene after we're done here. Go back to the scene where Osha pulls the lightsaber on Chimere and holds it to his neck, and the acting. Watch it. And then I want you to think about your grandma's late morning, early afternoon soap opera acting.
Yes. That scene has the potential to be a really, really great scene. But on first watch, I actually really loved that scene. Right. Going back and watching it again, her acting kills it.
She is perfect for the afternoon soap operas.
So yes, I will agree with you. Her acting made that scene not nearly as good as on the second time than the first time. I guess when I'm watching it the first time, I'm kind of putting these thoughts in my head, like I'm trying to hype up the show better than what it actually is. I don't know. I can't explain it. But then you go back and watch it again, and I'm like, oh man, did I have like Mandela effect or some shit where I don't remember this as well as I did?
Like it premieres late at night, and we're both like trying to go to bed, but we're like, we got to watch this real quick. And I'll typically have like a drink in my hand while I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, so I'm already Opened.
But yeah, the second watch just not nearly as good. And when I was going back through the second viewing, I remember you saying something about the directing, and I started watching it. And you are right about the stoic actors for the Jedi and whatnot, but you start looking at all the other actors in the show and the things that they're doing, and the directing across the board is pretty fucking terrible. In terms of what they're doing in each scene, how they're framing each shot is just not good at all whatsoever. And on the flip side of that, we have the cinematography, which I thought was light years better in this episode in comparison to
The
4
first
and
four.
5.
Right.
Light years better. Now, sir, did you recognize this island?
So that's not. I have it written down. It's not.
It's not?
No.
It looks just fucking like it.
It does, but it's not. So the director, all that, they came out and said it is not the island from episode 7 and 8.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yes. They wanted it to have the same kind of aesthetic and feel, but it is not the same planet.
Huh.
Yes.
That's disappointing.
Because the when it first opened up Tuesday night when I watched it, I said, holy crap, that's where Luke was, but it's not.
Because could you imagine the ramifications, or just like, we know that Palpatine was hiding in the darkness, essentially hiding in the shadows for the entire prequel trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right under their noses. Could you imagine them being on the island or the planet with the sacred temple and shit like that?
Well, so I mean, you look at it, and they mention it, if I remember correctly, in episode 8. They talk about the island that they're on. They have that dark spot that Rey goes to visit. And it's just the same thing as in Dagobah when Luke is training with Yoda. There's that dark cave where the dark side of the Force is focused in at, and that's why Yoda went to Dagobah, was because that planet was so shrouded in dark force that it was going to hide his light force from the Emperor.
That's true. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I think that'd have been cool to put it on that fucking planet. That'd been,
yeah.
I would have preferred it, to be honest.
I honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, "There's no way. There's no way they're doing that." But yeah, no, it's not. From what I read, evidently, Chimere chose this planet because there is an abundance of cortosis there, and he's mining it.
Which, speaking of the devil, let's fucking talk about him for a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Master Saul is no longer my favorite character in the series. I think Chimere is the driving force of the series. I think he is by far the best in terms of acting.
I would have preferred that, from episode 1, he was the center focus.
As he should have been when you pitch a fucking show as being Sith-centric from the Sith perspective.
Not even have him being center focus. Have the show be about his apprentice, and he's there being the master, and have it from May's perspective as the apprentice, or even pull in Osha later on when she makes the flop and have her be the new apprentice, and just have Chimere be there the entire time, influencing everything.
I agree. Really love him in this series. And they haven't really done a whole lot with him in just 2 episodes. That's really all we've gotten of him. Other than that, is just like little scenes here and there. That really doesn't even matter, if we're being completely honest with you. Really loved his scenes in this particular episode. Him and Osha. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, that's great chemistry," and yeah, let's pump the brakes on this, okay? Like, people are starting to ship them and all that good shit.
Which I don't.
I don't get it. I don't see the chemistry there.
Well, I don't get it either because she was just crushing on Jackie 2 episodes ago. So now it's like, what direction are we swinging on this one?
Jackie's dead, bro. She got to fucking move on. Okay,
well, I understand that, but there's so much controversy in this show about it being the gayest Star Wars and this and that, and then we're almost done with the first season, and now they're shipping Osha and Chimera together, and they've just completely thrown that part of the whole controversy out.
Yeah. But that's just another point. This show just doesn't know what it wants to be at this point. And we have May, who doesn't know whether she wants to fucking be an apprentice, kill her master, turn herself in, go find her sister, kill her sister. I mean, in the span of like 5 minutes, and then like the show just doesn't know what it wants to be and what it wants to do from episode to episode.
And then there was some total problems with this episode too, because you have you've got Osha and Chimera, and you've got May and Saul, and then you got Basil.
Oh, fuck me.
I mean, this is supposed to be a more grown-up series, at least a teenage series, but you keep on throwing Basil in there, and Basil is like pandering to those preteens and adolescent age group.
Yeah, so the point I was making earlier, where I said when it shifts anywhere between those 4 main characters into anything else, it's hot garbage. We get that scene with Basil, and he stomps on the toe of May.
First, he dry humps her leg.
Yes, dry humps her leg.
And then he stomps on her foot. And then money shots her in the eye.
He fucking does. On a weird level, that was fucking hilarious, but also stupid at the same time.
So it's just that could have been completely left out. Why does Basil sniff her out and think that's a good idea versus immediately running to Saul?
I just don't see the point in the fucking character to begin with.
He didn't.
Is the most useless character.
He really is.
This entire yeah. I mean, he was in episode 4 is when he joined the gang, because he was the tracker for the tracker or some shit like that, and it's like
he disappeared halfway through the episode. He ran off.
So yeah, I mean, he's just like one of the most useless characters among a bunch of useless characters. He's probably the most useless out of all of them. He serves no purpose.
But that goes with the Star Wars story, starting with episode 6, I guess, whenever they introduced the Ewok, and then you had the Porgs in episode 8. It's just they got to have a cute fuzzy creature or a cute fluffy character.
Are they selling any of these Basils on the shelves or some shit?
I haven't seen one yet, but I honestly haven't looked at any of the merchandise for this.
I'd be curious if like Disney World has like a shit ton of Basils.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like you said, they have one for every fucking trilogy, it seems like. Right. That looks fucking stupid. So, Chimera, his scenes, great in this episode, for the most part. We do get naked Chimera, so to speak. He doesn't really show anything, but I feel like it's weird that he's just standing there and they're just having conversations, and he's just, I don't know, just swinging the sausage left and right.
Well, and then he's making statements, like as he's walking out of the water and she picks up his lightsaber, he's like, wait, hold on, I wrote it down. Because I'm just like, well, that's not sexual harassment.
Hey, I have another lightsaber you can pick up.
He said, he goes, how does it feel to hold one in your hand again? And I'm just like, bro.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that. I didn't pick up on
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, come on now, a little inappropriate, okay?
it. Hey, man, it gets lonely on that planet, man. He's all by
I don't
himself.
know. But
I like what they're doing because we kind of predicted this is what was going to happen in episode 5. We said episode 6, 7 would be they were going to flip essentially, and that Chimera would be trying to convince Osha to come to the dark side, and Saul in reverse. And they did that. It seems like that's what they're going for in this.
it does,
And
but at the same time, Saul's throwing off vibes.
so hold on to that thought. Hold on to
Okay.
that thought just for a second. We'll get to Saul because I have the same complaint
Okay.
or note to make. So Chimera, I like what they're doing with him, where he's not really forcing his ideas on her and his morals or anything like that. He's just posing questions.
Right.
I like that.
He's making her start to doubt things.
Yes. And then it makes me wonder. I'm like, well, fuck. I mean, so this is where that aspect of that show came in, where when they pitched it originally, they said, the Jedi are not painted as the heroes in this. They're, you're going to question whether they are the heroes in this story, and that maybe the Sith are not necessarily the good guys, but maybe they have a reason for doing the things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that aspect, that pitch when it initially got pitched. And now that they're finally kind of introducing that into this series, I'm like, yes, we should have done that from the fucking beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Not episode 6.
Right. Not with 2 episodes left.
Exactly. So really love that. Now let's talk about Saul and May. Saul, I don't know, and I'm confused. I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't know if it's the writing and just they don't know what they want to do from episode to episode, if it's just terrible writing, or if it's me just misjudging his scenes a little bit. But he seems upset about what happened on episode 5, everybody getting killed, and he's upset about the Sith getting away, which a lot of people are saying he never mentioned that he was a Sith. He might as well have. He said he was a Sith, essentially. Okay, I don't give a shit what people say. You can call me a Sith. Yeah. Like there's people saying he never said that. Motherfucker, he did say that.
he said, I don't have a name, but you would call me Sith.
Exactly. Okay, he didn't specifically say I am a fucking Sith, but he basically said he was a Sith. Okay.
Right.
Now that we got that under the now that we got that mentioned, let's move on. Saul. He finds out that it is not Osha and that it is May. Didn't find out rather quickly. Chimera's over here finding out within like fucking 10 seconds that it is not May, and it is actually Osha. It takes Saul like half the fucking episode to figure it out. And then when he stuns her, knocks her unconscious, the high count, not the high council, but the Jedi Order, whatever the fuck.
The lower council?
The lower council, yeah. The in-betweens.
Gamora's council.
They tell him, leave your transponder on, we'll find you. And then he turns it off. And I'm just like, okay, you're giving me bad guy vibes here.
Well, I don't understand. So why would he even call them in the first place if that's the case?
Just to turn it off.
Right. Like he calls them and then conveniently you have the "Can you hear me now" scene. All right. Then for whatever reason, the power on the ship shuts off. Conveniently again. And then he sends May or Osha, whoever, at that point, it's Osha, to go fix it. He has a little crying moment, like where he's like extremely emotional. He's crying, he's stressed out, whatever. And then next scene, she walks in the room and he's just like, "Oh, Osha," and he likes all hugging up on her and stuff. And I'm like, compared to every other Jedi in this series, where they have zero emotion. It's just flat faces. Saul is not acting the part because every other Jedi is just flat, and Saul is just this hyper emotional Jedi.
So it makes you wonder,
right?
If he, I don't know. I don't feel like they would do another infiltrated Sith again. Basically, I don't know. I could be wrong. And I've been wrong many times with this.
I
with
can't
this series.
see it because, and that's the whole thing too. Is you can't say that Saul and Chimera, or that Saul is like the master, because when they matched off, Chimera's like, do you remember me? And Saul's like, well, you kind of seem familiar. So obviously Saul's not training him, or hasn't trained him, because he doesn't recognize him. Or not really.
But maybe he's just not the Jedi that everybody thinks he is.
Yeah.
He's definitely got some conflict there. I don't know. Do you think they're gonna introduce like a gray Jedi in this?
I don't know. I would like it. I don't think Saul's the man for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like it.
I would like it, just not in the show.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I want someone good to do it.
Well, I wanted them to introduce the gray in the sequel trilogy.
Yep.
And have Kylo become the gray Jedi. Because he went to the dark and then he would come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted him to be a gray Jedi. I actually wanted. I mean, you've heard my whole theory about how they should have done the prequel or the sequel trilogy, and actually have Rey end up being the bad guy.
That should. I 100% agree. They should have swapped.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. That'd been a fucking great story. I think we actually mentioned that on like 2 episodes ago. But that's neither here nor there.
So,
go ahead.
I don't know where I was going to lead off with that. I don't know.
Okay. So Master Saul turns off the transponder and he ends up having a little conversation, or he says, it's one of those conversations where it stops before they actually have the conversation because something happens and they're like, we'll talk about this later.
Right.
I can't fucking stand it when shows do that. Putting this story forward in an organic way. Well, you could have had this conversation right now, but instead you're prolonging it to the next episode to give yourself more content.
That's all it is. And it was they were talking, and then the radio came back on, and it was Gamora hailing them, and that just stopped the conversation. And May just kind of like stormed off.
Fucking Gamora, dude. I fucking hate her character in this.
So there was the scene whenever they're talking about leaving in 20 minutes, that the team's ready to go or whatever, and she's like, okay, I'm coming. And her new apprentice, because something happened to her other apprentice in the last 2 episodes, I don't remember, his name is like Korg or something. I don't know.
Wait, anyway. Korg? Like the guy from Marvel? From
the MCU?
From Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah, the rock guy. Whatever. Morg? I don't know. It was a weird name. I think I wrote that one down too. Doesn't matter. Anyway, and he's like, "Wait, you're coming with us, but you get nauseated whenever you fly." And she's like, "I don't get sick. It unsettles me." And she's just got her eyes wide open. She's not even staring at him. and then just flat face, "I don't get sick." And then she just walks off. And I'm like, what are you doing? How are you acting in this way? Why are you acting this way? Every scene that she's in, her eyes are just like spread open so big. And she's just talking to the air. And then she walks off.
It is some of the worst acting. I really don't know who the worst actor or actress in the show is. It's either Gamora or May Osha, chick.
No, it's Gamora.
I legitimately just hate every time she comes on the screen.
Yeah,
I'd rather have old boy back again. You know, what's his name? Yord.
Yord?
I'd rather have him back.
Yeah,
He was better than her.
yeah, he was. But that's the I hate her character, and I know they're gonna end up. We talked about this. She's gonna end up being Kymir's master when he was a Jedi.
Yeah, so they made it a point to show those scars like 1,000 times in this fucking episode.
Right.
Like he can't go a scene without them showing the scars on his back.
Now,
And I wish.
And Osha made the comment, "Oh, that looks like somebody stabbed you with a lightsaber," and he didn't rebut that and say, "Not stab," or something like that, like something else, and because she's got the whip,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like
it looks like a whip,
right,
kinda. So it makes sense. And he doesn't confirm whether or deny that it was the Jedi that did it. He did.
Right.
He just goes off on a different subject. So that's what I'm leaning towards. She is the master for him, or was the master.
Was the Jedi Master?
Was. I don't think she has anything to do with
No,
with the Sith or anything like that.
I think she kind of knows what might be going on, and she's like in the process of trying to cover it up.
Which I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just about to make that point. They get to that planet, and she asks old apprentice dude, "What do you think happened here?" And he just starts spouting off everything that happened. And then he's like, I mean, Saul could have done this. And she's
This
like,
is obviously
yeah, like, oh, that's a huge accusation. But she also kind of planted the idea while he was talking that it was Saul.
Again, I don't know.
So they're going to go.
And then he makes that comment. He goes, well, then why would he call us? And I'm like, exactly. Let's put that one in there. Why would he call you if that's the case?
So this is just my prediction for the next couple episodes. Obviously, Kiadu Mundi makes the comment, and everybody's up in arms about that bullshit, right? That there hasn't been a Sith for a millennium. So they're going to cover this up. That's the only feasible way that they can do this without a Sith being known to the council. So it's going to go one of two ways. Either they're going to blame it on the fucking bugs, which I fucking swear to God, if they blame it on fucking bugs killing these Jedi, I'm going to be pissed. You will see a TikTok rant on that, guaranteed. Or they're going to blame this shit all on Saul, and he'll end up dying, and he can't refute it,
Gamora kills Saul.
But we're still saying she's going to be good. She's still, like, light. Or you think she's going to be... Do you think she's actually the master?
No, I don't. I think she kills Saul to CYA.
Okay. Just, like dirty politician kind of shit.
Right. Because she was
House of Cards.
She was talking politics in this episode. They had the senator, whoever pop up, or it was another Jedi, whatever, talking about a senator, and they're like, it's just a senator or whatever, and it's just like they're already bringing in the politics. I think she's gonna kill Saul, or she's going to set the things in motion that end up getting Saul killed. Whether she does it by hand or not, but
yeah, that's the only way this happens.
Yeah.
And then, people still have their issues with Kiadu Mundi, like I said. I don't know, man. I don't know. Episode 7 comes out tonight. We're recording this on the night of episode 7 coming out. And I'm interested to see where this series goes in the last 2 episodes.
It's such a short season to try and do this, especially with the very slow rocky start they've had.
Yeah, so essentially we're working with like 3 episodes.
Essentially, honestly, yeah. Like they could have condensed all this down into 3 episodes. Like the first 4 episodes could have been 1 episode where all three of the other Jedi die, and they get the story going, and then it's just pop, 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 fleeing.
Which this episode has to be the one that I'm assuming Saul is going to explain what happened, and we're going to see why those other Jedi got killed and all that. Because we kind of, I can be honest with you, they kind of forgot all about those other fucking Jedi that died.
They did. Did you catch the Joker reference?
No.
I've been saying Heath Ledger's Joker the entire time. The first time Osha mentions Chimere's scars, she makes the quote, "How'd you get those scars?" And I'm just like, that's the Joker. You want to know how I got these scars? I'm like, that was it. They're playing up the Joker, man.
It's like the number 23, sir.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
It's the number 23, man.
It was that, and it was well. So there was that scene for the Joker, and then the whole scene with Gamora and her "I don't get sick," because one of our people in the Patreon made a comment about this. And I was like,
that it was related to Obi-Wan.
well, no, I said that because they were like, Jedi don't get star sick or motion sick or whatever. I'm like, man, that was a callback to Obi-Wan. That's all that was.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But guys, let us know what you think in the comments below about episode number 6. Is the series on a positive trajectory, or is it level, or is it just absolute dog shit all the way around? Let us know. And also in the description below, we have links to all of our social media accounts. We would greatly appreciate it if you went there, like, subscribe, follow, do all that bullshit. It really helps us expand and improve the podcast. Also, go follow us on TikTok. That is where you're going to get instantaneous breaking news, reactions, all that bullshit. And also reviews on new movies and whatnot. So we'd greatly appreciate it if you went there and did that. But other than that, guys, that is going to be it from us. We'll catch y'all next time on another episode. Laters.